Vibe's great at SRH. We've had a lot of fun actually. Yeah, as soon as I arrived, everyone was in a really good place and it's been really positive. Lots of the young guys bring great energy. Lots of the senior guys are quite calm, and that's been a really good mix. And yeah, it's been successful so far. I mean, I think the Aussie cricket team at the moment is a pretty good side. You know, to make the World Test Championship final, you've got to be a really good side, and we were that in Test cricket for the last couple of years. And then it comes down to final. ODI, we just kept trying to find, well, we just kept finding a way to win. Even some games we didn't play that well, but someone stood up and made themselves a match winner and just kind of hung in there. And then, yeah, felt like by the last game we were, you know, played out of our skin. So yeah, it was a great 2023. It started pretty well as well, 2024, so I think an IPL title might top it. Well, I'm part of a big family, so I've got 2 brothers, 2 sisters, all quite sporty. Mum and Dad quite sporty, but I'm the youngest brother, so Matt and Tim were playing around in the backyard as soon as I could basically walk, I was out in the backyard chasing them around. So my childhood was get home from school, go in the backyard and play cricket, certainly every day of summer. Yeah, so I lost my top of my finger when I was 4 years old. My older sister, slammed the door on my finger as I was trying to give her a lollipop, and it came straight off. So obviously when I was 4 years old, I was only tiny, but it's all I've ever known. So, you know, I wasn't even at school at that stage. So I don't know if it's an advantage. It feels like I need to hold the ball a little bit deeper in my hand, but I don't know anything different. I think your family is your one constant always in life. You know, for me, I'd finished school, you know, still lived at home with my family. Then you go and play for Australia, you play in front of big crowds over here in India. It's a whole different world, but I think having that place of comfort where you always go back to is always helpful. They push, you know, kick you back into line when you need it occasionally as well, especially 2 older brothers. Don't let you get too big for your boots. And I think, you know, Becky, we've been together for 10 years now and she's been amazing. It's not easy for partners, the amount of time we spent away, the amount of big moments that you miss, but she's always just been a wonderful support. And now with Albie as well, who's 2.5, just takes it to another level. It's so much fun. Love having them on tour when they can come on tour, and it really does, you know, change when you walk off a cricket field, win or lose. You're just excited to go and see them. I actually think the opposite. I think when you're really young and you're playing for Australia, anyway, the way I saw it was you feel like, particularly the media, but also your teammates and everyone around you, give you the benefit of the doubt a little bit more. I obviously put a lot of pressure on myself because you're playing a test match, you're getting a baggy green. I was super nervous, terrified. But I think the overarching, I guess, emotion was, well, one was surprise, but like I just wanted to do well. I couldn't believe I was in that position that I was. I don't know how I got there, but I just didn't want to let anyone down. I wanted to give it a good crack. I definitely went in waves for those 5-6 years. There's some times where I felt like I was back. You know, I was part of the 2015 World Cup win, so there was some moments within that 5 or 6 years where it was amazing. There was also a lot of moments where I was sore, I couldn't bowl, I was 12 months away from my next game. I felt the furthest thing you could possibly feel from being a professional cricketer. You know, I think when I was 17 at school and I finished school, I thought I'd go to uni, I'd get a real job, I'd play cricket on the weekend. And almost overnight that changed and I became a professional cricketer. So even when I was out for those years, I try to remember that this is my dream job. I can't believe the position that I'm in. Even though I'm injured and I'm not playing, hopefully I get back there one day. But I just try to keep reminding myself, and people around me did, that, you know, how lucky and fortunate I was to be in that position. DK's a legend. He was brilliant for those years. it was all about trying to get back, and that included lots of strength work. But as a fast bowler, trying to tidy up my bowling action a bit to try and take a little bit of stress off my body. And I, spoke to loads of different coaches, and everyone had something different to offer, and everyone was great. But DK, I found, not only, working with him, not only did I feel like my body was going to be a bit better protected, I also feel like I was going to be a better bowler at the end of it. Really simple methods, but it was small problem solving each session. You go in, try this, nope, didn't work, let's try something else. And I think that was the first time I felt a path forward where I'll get through this injury and I'll be a better bowler for it. I'm not sure I changed much about the way I bowled. Again, it was kind of my first taste of Test cricket. Well, I'd had one little taste, one Test match, but I was back playing consistently. I think, Test cricket aside, that was the first year where I realised what it takes to be playing all three formats 12 months of the year, plus I played IPL in 2018. It's just a bulk of time where you're away from home. There's games where you're super tired or sore or injured, but you just got to put on your boots and go and play. And I think I learned that lesson in 2018. With 2017, 2018, that period. And, at that stage I would have been quite young, 24, 23, 24, and I thought, well, if I want to do this for another decade, I've got to get my head around this is a career. And I think because of that, I'm probably a little bit more chilled now. I try and manage my time a bit better and try and manage the way I play for 12 months. It happened quite suddenly, but I wouldn't say, I was unprepared. I'd been vice captain for a couple of years, and the people around me had kind of invited me into a lot of those conversations around leadership. So I felt like I'd learned a lot in the last 12, 18 months around being a captain, but I didn't really have any experience. I'd done 3 or 4 one-days for New South Wales the previous year. That was literally the only times I've captained a game since I was probably 14 or 15. So I kind of knew how I wanted to go about it a little bit off the field. I think on the field I was a bit like everyone else, wait and see how this goes, because I don't really have anything to lean on. So I'll just try and be myself, lean on people around me, and give it a crack. No one role model. You take little bits from all your experiences previously, I think. So by that stage Tim Payne was the previous captain. Before him, Steve Smith, Michael Clark, even Ricky Ponting. I played a little bit with Ricky Ponting, George Bailey, one-day cricket, Aaron Finch, plus all the overseas players that you play alongside. So I think you take little bits and pieces from everyone, and you think, okay, that's one of my strengths. Okay, I'm not as strong as him in that suit, so I might need some help. But what wasn't one particular person. I'm not sure I'm always cool. Sometimes I think the camera misses when I get a bit fed up, but I think I'm quite relaxed as a person, which I think I'm just lucky to be that way a lot of the time. It is just a game of cricket. I think after playing for quite a while, and even each year, we play a lot of cricket each year, I think it does take a little bit of the pressure off each game. You know that as long as we stick to what we're trying to do, we might lose this game, but it's going to set us up for the next few games, etc. So not trying to get too caught up in kind of ball by ball. It's sometimes getting hot and bothered doesn't really bring out the best of me as a bowler or when I'm trying to lead or captain. So I try and as best I can prevent myself from losing my cool. I don't know exactly. I'm guessing it would have been a Champions League, which would have been, I might have been with Kolkata at that stage, and I think we're based out of here. That would have been maybe 2014 or 15. And I think I went out there for a day with maybe Ryan Tendiscarter. Yeah, I'm guessing that's it. I remember walking around, seeing a bit of the city. We used to go out for dinner a bit in Hyderabad. Play the golf course there, right on the fort. So I spent a bit of time here in Hyderabad. Coaching, I don't know, to be honest. Probably, well, first of all, my first thought was probably no, just because I've spent so much time away from home, away from my family, that coaching can take you away from home. But who knows, I'll be home for a month maybe once I finish, and I'll be sick of it and ready to go back on the road. And I'd just tell my younger self to stay patient. You know, it's what everyone else used to say to me, and I didn't want to hear it. But you know, just trust that there's enough years in a cricketer's career that even if you miss a few at the start, do what you can to set yourself up for the rest. But you know, you can still have a long career after you.